Hi guys, this is Desiree. I'm the volunteer manager, as many of you know, at AMOS Health and Hope, and I'm excited to be able to tell you what we've prepared so far for your visit, and also to give you some tips on how you can better prepare for your visit to Nicaragua. So I want to start by going through the agenda real quick so you know what topics we'll cover. We're going to start with a pre-departure guide, giving you just information on how to prepare yourself for the trip. What information should you know already, and also some good links and resources for you to check out and learn a little bit more about Nicaragua before you come. Logistics info session. This is a short presentation that I created that I want to talk about. That includes, information about our time in the community, which I'm sure a lot of you already know, but I just want to make sure everyone has the same information. I also want to talk about flights. And then a few other items that you should have at hand as well. And if not, please let me know so I can send that paperwork to you. Go over the wish list or the AMOS needs list of some donations that you can bring down. That, of course, are optional, but would be very beneficial for us in our ongoing projects. I want to talk about the Facebook page that we created for you guys to keep yourselves well informed of all updates that we give, and then talk about retreat options that we'd like for a weekend, one of the weekends that you're here. So let's start with a pre-departure guide, and I'm not going to stop and talk about each of the topics here, but I do want to show you what it contains so that you can go over it yourselves and let me know if you have any additional questions. So going over the table of contents, I want to talk about the first part of it, that is about living in Nicaragua. So you'll see that the first part of it is food and diet. One of the hardest things I'd say, or one of the challenges when traveling abroad, is a change in diet. It's very interesting to taste foods from other cultures, but at the same time, it is challenging on you and on your body. So I want you to be prepared, because no matter what, there will be a change in your diet. So Nicaraguans eat a lot of foods with made of corn, rice, beans, dairy products. And so for those of you that are vegetarians or have allergies and have dietary restrictions, I want you to be prepared for not having as much variety as maybe you're used to, and compensating that a little bit with the snacks or spices that you'd like to bring along it just takes a little bit of creativity. Transportation in Managua. This is just a quick explanation of the different options of public transportation in Managua and the costs of them. Geography and climate. It's always good to know what the terrain is and what the weather is like most of the time, so you can bring proper attire. Social activities. What are some of the things that Nicaraguans do as social activities? What sports do they like, for example? Professionalism, dress, and behavior. And this is similar to the code of conduct, where we talk about, the dress code is basically not showing off too much. Shorts that are not too short. Same with the skirts. And if you wear sleeveless shirts, make sure they're not spaghetti strapped tops. Personal safety, it is just a short explanation of how to be smart when you're traveling outside of around Nicaragua without AMOS staff with you. Let's say you go to the beach or volcano hiking. How can you be a little bit street smart and not get yourself into trouble? The rewards and frustrations of traveling abroad, of serving internationally and working in another culture, especially in the rural communities here. So that you'll find some helpful tips on that. And we just always emphasize how to be smart, how to be safe. And these are the factors that contribute to volunteer risk. There's just basically things that you have to keep in mind at all times when you're without AMOS staff, or even with AMOS staff. If you're not using an AMOS vehicle, then I think you should always be smart on what you're doing or what you're not doing that could attract attention or that could be considered dangerous. And then also in the rural communities, I think you have to be safe wherever you go, even though our communities are pretty safe and we've worked with them for years. And the AMOS compound has security 24/7. And Nicaragua in general, people are very nice, and our percentage of crimes is the lowest in Central America. But of course, you always want to be careful. And then pre-arrival questions. And this section is really important because I want you to ask yourself all of these questions. Do you know who's picking up from the airport and what is their contact information? Do you know the AMOS address, or would you have that at hand, and where would you have that? What happens if your flight is delayed? What is an emergency plan if that happens? How would you get in touch with your parents or your relatives or friends that would help you out with this? How do you decide on a new plan? What if your flight if you missed your flight, what would you do in that case? How are you getting to the airport? How are you going to get from the airport to AMOS? Do you require public transportation? What is the size of your bag? How many bags are you taking? Have you checked out your packing list? Are you taking everything on your checklist? Do you know if there's anything that you're not taking that should be essential? Is essential that you bring? How will you get money exchanged? How much money are you taking in cash? Have you notified your bank that you'll be traveling? What credit cards or debit cards do they accept there? And where can you get the money exchanged? What is the current exchange rate? What bills should you bring? Small bills, big bills. Am I taking big bills? Will there be a problem with you taking this? Do you have traveler's insurance or international health insurance that will cover you in case of emergency evacuation? Have you sent this information to AMOS? Have you talked to previous volunteers or your volunteer coordinator on questions about packing and safety tips? And of course, if you need to email me, feel free to do so. I have a team that's helping me coordinate everything, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. And then these are some online resources, just informative websites about Nicaragua, from the Department of State's website on Nicaragua. You have articles that you can find. You can read articles in the national newspaper like La Prensa or El Nuevo Diario. You can also go and check out the Ministry of Tourism page and see what you can learn about Nicaragua. And then just the U.S. Embassy. What do they say about Nicaragua? What are the safety recommendations? Do you have to register for the U.S. Embassy? And then recommended books on Nicaraguan history, which is extremely complex and interesting, but you already have a list of reading materials that are mandatory, so this is definitely not mandatory. But if you're one of those that love history and want to understand a little bit better the place where you're going to be for a while, check out any of these books, especially The Blood of Brothers, Life and Wars in Nicaragua. It's a really good book. Highly recommended. All right, so I'll be sending this guide to you. So don't worry if you weren't able to follow me through with everything. All right, so logistics info session. I want to start with that one. And some of these things are things that we've already covered, but I want to make sure that everyone has the same information on what to expect in the community. So, for example, the Nicaraguan diet. I want to make sure you understand that there's going to be a change in your diet no matter what. You know, we eat a lot of starch in corn-based meals, rice, beans, eggs, dairy, and so if you're vegetarian or if you have allergies or dietary restrictions, understand that it's not like you won't be able to eat. It's just that you won't find as much variety of foods as maybe you were used to. Even those that do eat meat, your diet's gonna change. So I want you to be well prepared for that. Complement it a little bit with the snacks that you bring: granola bars, dried fruits and peanuts, or the nuts. Um, and we had a vegetarian once that brought spices to add onto her food, so feel free to do that. So it takes a little bit of creativity and also cultural sensitivity to make sure that you're not offending when you're not eating certain foods. And just being careful at the times you choose to eat snacks. As you know, the communities that we work in, most of them do not have running water, and so you will be taking bucket showers. And these are usually outdoors, but they're completely covered, and you just fill up your bucket and you take it, and you have to make good use of the water. Latrines, we don't have a plumbing system, so we'll be using latrines. You basically have to go in there, do your thing as fast as you can, and then get out, and you're squatting, and we don't recommend that you ever sit on the latrine. We'll always be sleeping in close quarters. We'll be taking a cot for you, but we ask volunteers to bring their own sleeping bags, mosquito nets, and any additional bedding that you'd like, such as pillows, sheets, blanket. All of that is optional. We have volunteers that prefer sans bugs. If you do not know what this is, please look it up. SANSBUG, and it's sort of a small tent that you can put on top of your cot, and that way you don't have to be setting a mosquito net, which is sometimes difficult if there aren't enough nails on the walls to hang it from. But again, it's optional. The sans bug's a little bit pricey, so it might be above your price range for mosquito nets. So if that, just bring a normal mosquito net. If you can't find it in the States, don't worry, we can find one here for about $5. Same with rain boots. When you come in June, it will already be in our rainy season, so it'll be raining, and you will definitely need rain boots. So if you don't have any to bring with you, or if they're taking too much space in your luggage, then of course, don't worry about it. You can buy them here for about $12. In my case, for bedding, I always take a pillow, a sheet, a blanket, because it might get a little chilly at night. And that's about it. Be aware that there will be animals close by. There are a lot of, chickens and horses and pigs and cats and dogs around, so don't be surprised if there's a chicken walking into the room. But there might be noises outside at night, even though we're in close quarters and sleeping in groups. So you'll have either the school or the church or the school available for us to sleep in, but there will still be some noises outside. So if you bring earplugs, that's the smart move. Logistics information regarding flights. So arrival date, and I just used my Spanglish there in that slide, but arrival dates is 8 de junio, or June 8th, for both practicum and summer interns. So everyone should arrive on that date. If you decide to do some sightseeing before then, that is fine with us, but we will not be providing airport pickup if you arrive before June 8th. And we do not include food and housing before this date either. But again, it's optional if you want to come with a friend or some family member to go around Nicaragua before you start your internship as well. Just make sure that you understand this independent traveling before June 8th. So departure dates for practicum people, it's The last day is June 27th, so please make sure you see that we have moved the date of departure, or the end date, by 1 day. So it's no longer departing on Friday the 26th. It's now Saturday, June 27th. And then for the entrance, it's August 7th still, which is a Friday. So as you can see below here, it says morning airport pickup and afternoon airport pickup. And what this refers to is not that many, there aren't that many flights coming into Managua, but you usually only have morning flights and night. And so if your flight's arriving in the morning or at night, that's fine. At any time, we'll be able to pick you up. But what we're going to do is put it into 2 groups. Once we know your flight itineraries, we'll be able to see what time we'll be going to the airport. But basically what we're asking is if there's someone coming in at 8 and another person coming in at 10, and then the next flight doesn't come till 6, what we're going to do is 2 trips to the airport. The first group will be the morning group pickup. And so anyone arriving in the morning, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 will be in the morning group, which means that if you arrived a little bit earlier, we're going to ask you to wait with us at the airport for the rest of the entrants arriving. Trust me, even though you're going to be tired from the flight, time flies by really fast when you're getting to know people, and we're going to be taking board games or other activities to make that time entertaining. So for those arriving in the evening, it's going to be pretty similar. We're going to have one airport pickup in the evening for all of those arriving between 5, 6, 7, 8. And I think the latest flight arrives around probably 8:30, 8:39. So just requiring your patience and understanding, but we will be doing those 2 airport pickups at those 2 times. We ask you to please not come in on or leave on flights that are at midnight. So what we do want to avoid are Spirit airline flights, which you might think are cheap. They're cheap, but they're coming in at 12, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and we will not be. We would prefer not to have to pick up an intern at that time. So please make sure once you purchase your flight itineraries, you send those to me so I can put you in one of the groups and make sure that we have arrival and departure times for everyone. Also, please check out the travel guide document, which I've already sent to everyone. That should include information about the forms you'll be asked, what immigration form will you be given and what will they ask, what custom form will you be given and what do they ask for, what is the tourist visa fee, which is $10, right? They'll ask you for the AMOS address, and you'll find it there. And where are we going to be waiting for you at the airport? So good information on that travel guide. Make sure you go through that document. The AMOS packing list, I've also sent this to everyone. I would say everything here is essential when it comes to clothing. I think you'll survive if you don't have a bandana or a baseball cap or visor, but it's good these are definitely good things to bring. Same with the equipment. Sleeping bag's optional. Sleeping pad is optional. We really recommend a sleeping bag and a blanket. And I've talked about all of this. Towel, bring down towel, sunglasses, headlamp, and flashlight with extra batteries, water bottle, 2 of them. This is optional, but really helpful to have as well. Bible, of course, is optional as well. Whoa. Okay, so, and then personal, items such as medication, glasses and contacts, and sunscreens very important, such as well as insect repellent, hand sanitizer, very important, earplugs that I mentioned, and snacks. And we'll be providing a cot and a first aid kit. And even though we'll have our own first aid kit, it's good to have your own personal first aid kit as well. This is a quick, it is a small map of the campus just to have an idea. You guys are going to be staying in one of the guest houses. We now have a third guest house, which is in addition to the guest house number 2. So we'll be staying in one of these guest houses. But as you can see, they're all on the same campus. The main office is really close to guest house number 2. Not as close to guest house number 1, but not that far at all. And so this is where you'll be having your classes, and as you can see, there's a lot of green area for you to do different activities like play volleyball, soccer, there's a prayer garden here, and you can also just kind of hang out in the hammocks as well. And we have, of course, the clinic that we can use in case of emergencies during work hours, Monday through Friday. And also, in case of emergencies, we have a doctor on call at night if anyone gets sick and needs a consultation or a medical visit. And here is the AMOS address if you want to take note of that. So we have also sent an AMOS compound guide for you to check out and see what we offer here at the AMOS compound. The services we offer are basically, you'll have your bunk bed with the sheets and towels that you need. You'll have you can take showers. It's cold water, but it's fine. It's not bad, especially because it's hot here. And then fans, we offer fans. We do not offer air conditioning because of the high cost of air conditioning, but you will have fans. You also have internet, Wi-Fi access, purified water, and like I was saying, a lot of green area and relaxation areas. And you'll have AMOS staff on site for assistance and emergency, both at the office, guest house, and clinic. And like I said, we have a set plan for nights. Code of conduct. I will be sending this in case you haven't received it for you to go over it. And basically talks about our values. And I want you to pay close attention to where it says abstain from the use of tobacco, alcohol, or illicit drugs while maintaining a healthy lifestyle. And please also keep in mind that AMOS is a Christian nonprofit, and so we have our values and standards that we expect our volunteers to meet. So some health tips that you will see in the health guide that I sent you. Please make sure that you see what vaccines you should take before you come down. What are the CDC recommendations? It's up to you if you decide to take malaria pills or not, but please make sure that you are prepared in case you are taking malaria pills. The communities where we work in, there are 0 cases of malaria, but and it's not common at all in the areas that we work in. But if you want to be extra careful, that is optional. Again, always talking about personal health and proactiveness. So it's up to you. What I do need you to be very careful about is dengue, fever, and chikungunya. Similar things that you could get transmitted by mosquito bites. So make sure that you bring enough mosquito repellent and a mosquito net, because there is no pill or no vaccine that can help you prevent this, other than preparing yourself with enough mosquito repellent and mosquito nets. So everyone knows the itinerary, but just real quick, the practicum itinerary. Week 1 is in the Manawa campus. Week 2 is going out to the rural communities, and week 3 is the final classroom week. Of course, you guys know that we are against having these long lectures where we're going to have the presenter just go on and on and on and on. So we have very interactive activities set in place. Super excited. And Andre We'll be sending you a detailed itinerary with a syllabus and reading materials guide by the end of this week. Friendly reminder, the funds. Please make sure you send the total amount of funds by April 24th at the latest, along with your signature acceptance form. Please let me know if you're going to have any problems with sending this check by the 24th. And please take note that 500 out of the total funds are considered non-refundable confirmation fee funds. Of course, we have a set budget, and there's a minimum that we need in order to continue and actually do all the projects, because as you can imagine, there's a lot of preparation prior to your arrival, and it would really be unfortunate if, due to last minute cancellations, we wouldn't be able to do the trip anymore, and all the projects anymore. So please let me know as much in advance if you have any problems with funding, and please understand that 500 out of those total funds are non-refundable. These are the instructions on how to send the check. Send a check to AMOS Health and Hope, and make sure that you write on the memo line of the check your name and volunteer fee, so we know where this goes. And this is a check sent to to Reverend Tim Spring, our board secretary in the States. Send an email to Tim and also to my email. So documents you should have it at hand. The travel guide document that we talked about, the packing checklist, the AMOS compound tour, the code of conduct, which if you don't have, I'll be sending to you, and health tips, and of course the medical and waiver form. If you have not filled that out, please understand that the medical and waiver form is key in order for us to be better prepared in case of an emergency. It is very important for us to have your general medical history and physician's clearance. If you do not have physician's clearance, at least sign authorization that we can give you the necessary medical attention. So please let me know if you have any questions about everything that I've talked about, or maybe I've missed some things that you'd like to cover. So as you know, I'm available to answer questions for you guys. So some of the other things I wanted to talk about is the AMOS wish list. And this is, like I was saying earlier, these are a list of donations of materials that you could donate, but of course you're not obligated to do so at all. But we would be extremely grateful if you were able to donate any of these materials that we use for our own ongoing projects. So we have, the polyvitamins and drops for children under 2 that can't chew or swallow, and then we have the multivitamins with iron and tablets for children. Microcuvettes and lancets are used to do anemia testing, right? So if you can find those, are very helpful. Albendazole tablets for deworming. Baby layettes, and this is a list of what a baby layette contains. And these are basically sort of incentives that we give to the mothers that have their babies in hospitals instead of at home. So as you can imagine, in the rural communities, a lot of mothers and women prefer to have their babies at home, and you of course know of all the risks that imply. And so we want to reduce child mortality, we want to reduce maternal deaths, so we want to be incentivizing the women to have their children in the hospitals, and one of the ways to do that is by giving them baby layettes. Batteries, we need those for the HemoQs that we use to take to test the hemoglobin levels when we're doing anemia testing. And so we have 4 HemoQs, and each HemoQ needs 4 batteries and plus 4 replacements. So 4 times 4, 16 times 2, we need a minimum of 32 batteries per trip. Alcohol pads, gauze, cotton balls, gloves, Band-Aids, alcohol gels are things that we use during our health stations, and mostly in the anemia station. And then we also have a few other things that will be very helpful, like Ziploc bags to put the vitamins in. These are small little Ziploc bags. And then stickers, foamy decorations, color construction paper, ribbons, threads, material markers, crayons. All of this these are just ideas. If you have other things you could donate to work with the children, please feel welcome to bring those down as well. And even though you'll be extremely busy in the communities, I'm sure you'll have some downtime to play with the children and the youth. And so, if you're creative about ways of having fun, then I think the youth and the kids are going to appreciate that greatly, because we're talking that there's no electricity in a lot of these communities, there's no running water, and just no Wi-Fi access, no plumbing, and it's very basic conditions, kind of like going camping. So if you can find creative ways of being entertained, that is something that they'll appreciate, and I think you'll appreciate as well. So I'm going to share this on the AMOS, on the Facebook page that we created for you guys. So just let me go real quick to the Facebook page, if the internet allows me to. But anyways, you can go, it's the AMOS Global Health Interns page, and you'll go there and you'll be able to see, comments from past volunteers, and then I'll be updating everyone from this summer, the 2015 summer interns. I'll be updating you via email, but also on the Facebook, and Facebook is helpful because everyone's simultaneously informed of things, and also your questions might be similar to other interns questions, so it's a good way to share everything, to update everyone. And also, please feel free to read through the past posts. You'll realize that even though it's global health interns, it's not all the posts are not all public health related, and they're actually pretty silly and funny. And there's also a part that where they're sharing basically their testimonies and their experiences, and you'll see the impact that their summer at AMOS had, not only personally but also professionally. So please check out that page and join the group if you haven't done so. And then last but not least, I wanted to talk to you about the retreat. So we do a retreat with the interns every summer, and we go somewhere in Nicaragua. And what we are doing basically is taking a weekend to relax, before all of our hard work in the campo. And it's sort of like a thank you to you guys, but also an opportunity to, to see a little bit more of Nicaragua. And so the recommendation that we have for this summer is San Juan del Sur. But please feel free to research on Nicaragua and let me know if there are other places that you'd like to visit. But where I'm going to start, I'm going to ask on the Facebook page for you to vote and tell me where you want to go and who's voting for San Juan and who wants to go somewhere else in Nicaragua. So I think that's all the information that I have for you right now. Work on the paperwork that's still pending, funds being sent, flight itineraries being purchased, medical and waiver form, physical, physician's clearance. Ask me questions if you are not sure of a few things. Ask me about that before you move forward with anything. Don't send the funds if you're not sure about how you're supposed to send them, or if there's a reason why you haven't sent in your medical and waiver form, please let me know so I can answer as soon as possible and get back to you as soon as possible. I'll be out in the rural communities on certain times, and so if I don't get back to you, it might be because of that. But please be sure, rest assured that I will be getting back to you as soon as I can. And if there's an emergency question that you have, that I can't answer because I'm not, with Wi-Fi access, then please communicate to the communications email that you can find on our website, because they're constantly checking that website. All right, guys, so I think I've given you a lot of information, and I'm hoping that this is helpful. And please, of course, please contact me with any questions that you might have. We're super, super excited to have you come down with us. And as you know, we have a big group on staff that is preparing all of the aspects of your visit to make this an unforgettable experience. So we'll be in touch. Thanks. Bye.